next we will meet Otrun at the Gregor Mendel Institute. So that's the plan of our walk, and we will start. I'm happy to start at my home university, and the university is located in a very beautiful area of Vienna, in the northwest of Vienna, in an area of many cottage houses, and there is a huge landscape park which is called Dirkenschanz Park. And there was this was a place where our university was built. Our university, by the way, is 150 years old. Gregor Mendel is 200 years old. Our university is 150 years old. Don't worry, I will not bother you with too many figures, but a third figure will come later. And our university is at Gregor Mendel Strasse 33. There's a house called Mendel House in there. That's how it looks from outside. And actually, this building was built in a street which was then called Hochschulstraße, so High School Street. And in 1934, it was renamed to Gregor Mendel Strasse. This was when Erich Tschermak, one of the rediscoverers of Mendel, was working at the university as professor, and he initiated many things. And one was to rename the Hochschulstraße to Gregor Mendel Strasse. So this is now Universität für Bodenkultur in German. And here you can see the young Erich Tschermak, and you can see a page out of Tschermak's notebook when he was reading around 1899. He was reading about Mendel, and you can see he has been taking notes about this 3-to-1 segregation and such kind of things. And in the year 1900, he published a paper, and this is his Rediscovery publication über künstliche Kreuzungen bei Pisum Sativum. And when he was writing this paper, also and a little bit before, when he experimented, he found Mendel's paper, as you probably know. You can see he was pretty young at the time, and you can see his staff members in the backyard of the university. They were gardeners, and they were, as you can see, they were dressed for field work here. And this picture has been taken in the year 1912, and you can see cereal experimental plots here, some wheat or spelled wheat, whatever this is. Here's a picture of Erich Tschermak as a professor. He became a professor after rediscovering Mendel, and he got sort of crazy about Mendel, and in his later years he arranged postcards to be printed with Mendel as a young student and Tschermak as his professor. So, and he sent these postcards to many of his colleagues, and this was a little bit strange thing. Here you can see another portrait of Tschermak crossing primroses, primulas. And just to summarize his achievements, he was one of the so-called rediscoverers of Gregor Mendel in the year 1900. You probably know the other two ones. This was the German professor Karl Correns and the Amsterdam-based professor Hugo DeVries. And what Tschermak really did through all his later life, he made Gregor Mendel very popular. And he was also the first professor on the chair of plant breeding at our university. And what he also did, he was not a big scientist, we would say today, but he just simply applied Mendelian genetics and Mendelian inheritance in plant breeding. And he did so in a very successful way. But he earned also a lot of criticism, and still today he is criticized quite a lot. Number one is the independent rediscovery. Three men, three boys in the same year rediscovered Mendel independently of each other, which is, as we know now, not really true. The three guys, Tschermak, Correns, DeVries, they were knowing each other, they were talking to each other, and so on. So if it is, so the next question is, why is this a rediscovery? There was a myth about Mendel, one of the myths, that he published his paper and nobody understood it, nobody read it, and so on. But historians have found out that Mendel has been cited, his paper has been cited quite a number of times before the year 1900. So it was not totally neglected, and so it didn't need to be rediscovered. And historians of science also pointed to the role of Armin Tschermak. Armin Tschermak was the elder brother of Erich Tschermak, and we can see that Armin helped Erich a lot to publish his papers and to find the way into science. He was really a beginner. Erich was a beginner at the time. So he founded many experimental stations. I just like to show you one of them. And this is the Mandalay Room. This is in Letnice na Moravie. It's existing still today. It had been founded by Erich Tschermak, and it is today belonging to the horticultural faculty of the Mendel University in Brno. So if it happens that you one day move from Vienna to Brno or vice versa, and if you are in a car, take a stop there. Letnice is definitely a place worth to visit. And also this institution, Mandalay Room, is an interesting place, place to see. Also, if you are, we still have a lot of showcases and pictures that have been made by Erich Tschermak. He shows interspecific crosses here in the serials, or always he shows, he had many displays about Mendelian inheritance, and here you can see the very famous round and wrinkled P characters and the yellow versus green color of the seed code. Even nowadays we receive great presents. One I like to mention, which will be on display at the university, is a Mendel bust by Daniel Fairbanks. Daniel Fairbanks is an American historian of science and artist at the same time, and he has published a book right now, or it will come out in this year in a few months, on Mendel. This is a very beautiful bust showing Mendel with his glasses. We know that that Mendel was wearing glasses which he bought in Vienna, and sometimes he was driving to Vienna to get his glasses, his spectacles adjusted. This is another famous picture of Mendel, actually based on the so-called Schönes Mendel portrait. And we have an artwork which was initiated, photo artwork initiated by Tschermak in the 1950s, and this is very frequently used in publication. In present-day research in applied genetics and plant breeding, some things you can see here. This is, of course, GWAS and genomic selection, but also modern phenotyping techniques, disease resistance, and other things. And our colleagues in animal science, which is also applied genetics, they are doing similar things. They do genomic data analysis. This is big data and genomic selection, or they also work on the diversity of local breeds and land races and these kind of things. If you enter the building and if you go to the backyard of our university, you will find a small botanical garden, and with some plants on display and some landscape architecture there. And you will see yellow flowers and blue sky and peace. Yellow flowers, blue sky, and peace. And yellow flowers blue sky and peace. This is what we wish in these days, not only to the people of Ukraine and to the people of Russia at the same time, but to all people in the world. Let's move on a little bit. We make a short move to the Döbling Friedhof, the Döbling Cemetery. In Vienna, cemeteries are very, very important, and I recommend you to visit cemeteries. You can see how people are presenting themselves there. And here is the spot where Erich Tschermak has been buried, and you can see he is buried next to his wife, and he is entitled as a botanist and plant breeder, Botaniker und Pflanzenzüchter. Now we make a big jump to the north east of Vienna, to Friedrich Engels Square, and Angela and Eva Maria, are you ready? I want to show you a few pictures about a monument on Gregor Mendel. I show you the pictures how this looks like right now. It was established in the 1950s, and Tschermak initiated that. So it is the 1950s style. You can see parents and F1 generation and a 3-to-1 segregation here. Yeah, that's the monument. I told you I will not bother you with too many figures, but here is the last figure for today, 3-to-1, very, very important figure. And here you can see Gregor Mendel. Yeah, this is the artist, Gregor Mendel. Again, you see the monument itself is not very well preserved. That's a big problem, that we have genetics and evolution is going on. Weeds are growing everywhere around. In summertime, the parent fish is used for sprinkling water. So that's the environment. There is also a cat and a mother and baby cats. So you can see this is another time of the year. Johann Gregor Mendel. You can also recognize a bee and pea flowers around here. Yeah, the weeds are growing, shrubs are growing, 3-to-1 segregation. Mendel is looking to a supermarket opposite on the opposite side of the street, and so on. This is how it looks like in winter. That's the bee, and Gregor again. And here you can also see Erich Tschermak. He did not forget to mount himself next to the monument as well. Erich Tschermak Seiseneck, der Wiener Wiederentdecker der Mendelschen Vererbungsgesetze, the Viennese rediscoverer of Mendelian laws. He was a very proud guy. Even he signed this thing. So, and this is the place of the monument, and this is the street which leads to the bridge crossing the river Danube. And if you proceed to the northwest, then you to the northeast on this street, then you enter into Brunner Strasse. This is the Brno Street. This is the street leading from Vienna to Brno. So somehow it makes sense to place the monument here. But, oops. But we are not, nobody is happy with that monument. And so I would like to ask Angela and Eva Maria, what would you do with the monument?